much earlier than us, even though you left a little earlier.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Alex and Sammy K and I went to the Halloween bars last night.
Yes.
Well, 2 of them. There's a couple more than that, but the main 2 that we typically go to for pop-up bars, Dream Hotel and Hidden Bar and Noel Hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have my little Noel stamp on
it. It's fading already, which is good.
It was already very faded in the first place, but...
Yeah, it was a fun time. It's... The Hidden Bar's a Beetlejuice-themed bar, and then Dream is... I think it's just called Fall Y'all Bar or something,
I will say that the Dream Hotel one had the best drinks. Mm-hmm. And, like, even for pop-up bars in Nashville, I think sometimes they really try to, like... do all these funky things to like really mix it up, but this was the best drinks that we've had, I think.
I liked it.
Also, in the Beetlejuice bar, it was fun because we got but they every so often they start playing the
Deo.
Daylight come and
it's like just called Deo.
Go home song, and they hand out shots, and I was like, I think they're handing out shots to all of us, and they were like, what? I was like, just wait, I think they're shots.
It's called Banana Boat and then Deo in parentheses by Harry Belafonte, and so that would make sense because it definitely tasted like banana, so
yeah.
They're like, okay, we're gonna do a shot for the Banana Boat song.
And someone tried to order them, and they were like, nope, those are for special occasions. They were honestly so really good, though.
I didn't really taste alcohol.
They were yummy.
They were really good. And then tasted a lot of alcohol in the actual drink we ordered.
Yeah, those were something.
They were very strong. Yeah.
We thought they'd be like them because it was also a banana liqueur in them, so we thought they'd kind of...
Yeah, I didn't really taste it in that drink, though.
I did. It was just very, like, it had a lot of other fruits in it, and it just, like, all kind of clashed a little bit.
I don't know. But they have, like, these mini clothespins that have, like, it pins a little sticker to the glass that you get to keep. So now I have a Beetlejuice sticker. I have one of, what's-his-face from Christmas Story in the bunny costume. Yeah. From last year's Christmas bar there too, so just collecting stickers from there now, I guess.
It's cute. It's good marketing. I like it.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
This year was kind of a bust for them in general, though. We have normally at least like 3 or 4 that we can hit on the same street, and we just kind of go up and down. But this year it was...
For Christmas, there'll probably be more, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because Christmas has the most, usually.
But, like, if the Hidden Bar themed holidays are like the fad is over, I'm gonna be so sad. Yeah, that was like a fad that like I love it. I don't care if it's like whatever. I love it. Basic white girl to do. Like, I love it.
Besides just like going to Broadway and be like a tourist, it's like,
you know
stuff
what, I
that's
don't knock going and being a tourist in your own city, but it was frustrating. No, sorry, not frustrating, that's the wrong word. It gets same old, so I like the little, like, and it's a little off Broadway, so we don't actually like go towards the Broadway scene. It's going out downtown, cheaper parking even, because we don't go downtown, so
and
with all the convenience of staying out and not feeling like scared to be in some sketchy bar.
Yeah, Sammy and I had to get water, and we went to Assembly Food Hall to get the water, and our plan was if we can't get water there because it was very close to closing, then we would just like pick a random bar and go in and get water, because I'm like, they'll give us free water anywhere basically. And I kind of low-key wanted to just randomly go in a bar, but it was probably best that we didn't, because it's just people, so it would be crowded everywhere else. But yeah, should we say hello to our friends?
Hi everyone, welcome to the Musical Ends podcast with me, Alex Allegra
and Katie Fee.
So Katie, what do we have on deck for today?
Okay, so I think in last week's episode I mentioned how, like, if you're not into woo-woo type stuff, it's not the episode for you, and then we decided that the rest of October is just gonna be fun, spooky stuff.
It is, well,
but
the next episode,
it's like kind of Halloween or spooky-esque, I guess, but not ghost stories again. We're not doing more of that, so
we just
different, but
wanted a little bit of a refresh in content. So
yeah,
and we
some more fun stuff.
Just wanted to have fun. Yeah. I think that we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. More. We haven't just lost all hope in the podcast core itself.
The education parts. We still want to do that, but we also want to have fun. So just kind of having a mix of episodes, I think, is good. But for the sake of October, we're just doing fun ones.
People besides our friends really listen to this podcast, honestly, and so
that's true.
I like to keep it fun for them.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair too. So the episode that we're doing today is gonna be something that we briefly touched on last time of conspiracy theories. And there's like one primary one. If we have time, we might do little snippets of other ones, but I just wanted to start off with, on TikTok recently, have you been seeing the like quote unquote conspiracy / it's like a more of a meme than a conspiracy of like thanking Beyonce in speeches?
I think maybe if it's true, then I'm sorry I ever said this, but if it's not, I think it's so unhealthy and toxic that we're doing this. Like, she's gonna get so much hate for no reason. Okay, and today, actually, I saw on TikTok that there was one, this was so stupid, and I don't believe it for a second, that there's one that Beyonce starts a tour and then a major celebrity dies because but it doesn't really happen. Like, they were like, in August of this year she started touring, and then in September this artist died.
But that's a whole different month.
Thank you. So I was like, okay, I get what you're trying to like come up with, and so everyone in the comments was like, stop touring Beyonce. Like,
no,
you don't ruin Beyonce's career and life just because of something stupid. But also, did you see JoJo Siwa at one?
Well, she joked about it at some award show and said like, gotta thank Beyonce, gotta keep the dance community safe. And then I saw a video that said allegedly she has not been seen since.
Oh God.
I was like, I don't think that's true, but that's funny.
I'm just like, no matter if it's true or not, why would you say that? And I know her whole thing right now is to say the most out of pocket stuff for publicity, and the fact that we're sitting here talking about it is publicity for her too. But like, why would you say that? Like, girl, have some 2 cents. Why would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was like
then I also did see Kelsey Ballerini was on it, and she was like, the fact that Beyonce made a country album this year.
Yeah, it was like snippets of a bunch of people's acceptance speeches for awards where they thanked Beyonce just like kind of randomly.
I think it just happens to be that we're old enough now that like a lot of people grew up on Beyonce's music and like attribute a lot to her, and she is somebody that like, it's kind of one of those things of like, don't forget the people that came before you, you know, and who carved a path and like all this stuff. And I think with Beyonce, in like, for Kelsey's purpose, Beyonce in country right now is like, it shone a lot of light on females, and it shone a lot of light on different communities within country music, and it started some different like genre opening doors. So
but yeah, the video had like captions and stuff with the videos of like, see the fear in their eyes of like, and she's like watching and it's like, I gotta thank her, otherwise something's gonna happen, and stuff.
Like,
and I'm just like, it's stupid. This is why I said it's more meme than conspiracy, because I don't think people actually believe that they have to.
No, I think people legitimately do. That's the sad part.
Oh,
I think that people legitimately believe this to be a thing,
that you have to thank her, otherwise you're gonna have bad luck.
Yeah. Okay. Like the general public, obviously.
A funny little thing that I kept seeing pop up on TikTok, and I was like, I'm gonna briefly look at like, how did this start and stuff, and it's just something people picked up on of like, a lot of people thank her, let's like joke about it, I guess. But yeah, I just figured that was a fun little current-ish thing to kind of start us off before going into more stuff. So the one that got brought up last week is the main one that I was gonna have us do, which is the Elvis is alive conspiracies. And there's a bunch of different ones. So I'm going to go through like several of them, but then like focus on... Oh, I wrote this out. If you want to cut that, that's fine. I forgot. I like typed out an intro because I was like, okay. Ooh, I can like read in more well thought out words.
Okay.
Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, tragically died at the age of 42 on August 16th, 1977. Or did he? The king left behind a legacy that will live on forever in the hearts of the people who loved and admired him, but seeing as his death was so unimaginable, many claim that Elvis never did die from heart failure and that he is alive and well today. While there are many conspiracy theories as to how Elvis could have faked his death, we're only going to look at a few, namely the theory that Arkansas pastor Bob Joyce is actually Elvis. Alex is shaking her head.
I just don't think I think he just died, people. Get over it. Sorry.
It's fun, though.
I know.
It's fun. It doesn't have to be taken seriously, even though there are people who legitimately believe it, obviously, because of all this stuff that there is. Like, people wouldn't be dedicating this much time into something if they didn't truly believe it, I would think. So...
well, here's the thing. I will say some people don't believe the flat earth theory. They just want to be a part of a group.
Okay.
That's how a lot of cults start. They want community.
Okay.
So I don't think everyone believes everything they do. I think that sometimes people are just lonely.
Just going with it to have community. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the first one, and a lot of these kind of could tie in together, but this is just the order that I put them in, is the witness protection theory. So one theory suggests Elvis faked his death in order to escape the mafia. Gail Brew Giorgio's 1988 book, Is Elvis Alive?, examines FBI documents suggesting the singer may have gone into witness protection.
Oh, so it is, like, documented. Okay. I thought people, like, made that up just for, like, shits and gigs, you know?
So... here's a quote of her. Do I know if Elvis is alive today? No, I don't know. But I know he didn't die on August 16th.
Oh, okay then.
And that was a quote to the
Do we
to
know
Time
that
magazine.
This woman is a very actual, legitimate...
I mean, she wrote a whole book and examined the FBI documents, I guess, but she cites evidence from FBI reports claiming Presley was enlisted, and the writer claims, so not FBI, she claims that Presley was enlisted as an undercover agent in 1976 to infiltrate a criminal organization called the Fraternity, but he had to disappear after he was suspected of being a mole. So he was caught in his like undercover role, supposedly, and then they had to fake his death in order to keep him safe.
I mean,
otherwise he would have been
killed. They used to use actors and singers and stuff for spying. So.
I didn't write this down, but I did see something of sometime around then in the 70s. He had taken a tour of like FBI headquarters and stuff and talked to them about how much he appreciates what they do and if he could help them in anything that he would do so. So like that kind of could tie into that.
Yeah.
And then the next one is the black helicopter. So the Sun points out there are sightings of a helicopter landing at Graceland an hour before Presley's body was discovered. So fans speculate that he was picked up from his home and flown to Bermuda, where he, quote, lay low when he became tired of fame, end quote. But it could be that he got picked up to escape fame, or it could, I think, tie into the witness protection thing, too, of like, oh, he got picked up to go into witness protection.
But that one might not hold a lot of merit, because isn't The Sun like one of those like tabloid-type magazines?
I mean, yeah, but...
and fans supposedly saw it.
Yeah.
Apparently,
but that's
somebody
just
had
a theory,
said
too.
in one of my rehearsals the other day that they visited Graceland, and like their neighbors can just like see into his house. Like,
yeah, there's ones that I didn't like include just because they're little ones that I think they've didn't hold much detail and stuff. But there's a door to like the pool house that someone saw someone that looked like Elvis like through the door after he had died. And then after they reported that, I think they had a picture of it or something, then they like closed up that door. So
yeah,
but I don't know why he would like go back and like be hiding out there, especially because how much of the public like sees.
Right, yeah.
It would be hard to like fake your death and then stay where you supposedly died.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Well, how did they get like the pictures of him dead on the toilet and everything like that?
Are there pictures?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't look up. I don't want to look that up though. 'Cause I don't need to see him dead because that's kind of morbid. Yeah, I don't know. Elvis's tombstone tell. Some argue Presley's middle name was intentionally misspelled as Aaron, Aaron, instead of Aaron, Aron, because he wouldn't want his real name on a fake grave. In 2002, country artist Jeannie C. Riley said in an interview that Elvis is still alive. Oh. And here's her quote: Elvis, Aron Presley. Not Elvis, Aaron Presley, like is on his gravestone. Elvis was too honest a man to put his real name on a grave that he wasn't in. He ain't in it. End quote. Sorry for laughing. It's just so serious. And I'm like, okay. And she claims that she can name several top names in the music world that see him on a regular basis. And then she like went on to be like, I'm sticking my neck out by saying something right now.
I was gonna say, yeah, like why would he socialize with all these people and stuff and like
yeah. But people are just like, oh, he doesn't like his name's misspelled on the tombstone because like he didn't want his actual name on it since it's a faked death and not a real one or something. That's their thought process. And then there's family slip-ups. So Priscilla was
also,
on.
I'm sorry, but
okay.
Too honest of a man. He's dead.
Yeah, it's fine. I also heard that he like later in life started spelling it with 2 A's.
Oh.
But if his legal name was just 1 A, you would think it would be the legal name on there, but I don't know.
Well, it depends. Maybe
unless he legally changed it.
That, or maybe whoever was in charge of like the grave, like if his wife or whoever was in charge of his estate, spelled it with 2 A's by accident, like because that's all they've ever known, like or that was what was in the will, like maybe he signed it with 2 A's, like I don't know. So that would be a question for a lawyer, not me, if that's how that works. Yeah.
Family slip up. So, on the Oprah Winfrey show, Priscilla was speaking about Elvis and like how he wanted his daughter to have everything because he too grew up poor. And then she said, and that's exactly what he said the other day. And then she like corrected herself, but like what do you mean the other day? This is, I don't know what year that was, but like being the Oprah Winfrey show, that's probably like what, early 2000s or something. So like
still
decades later, what do you mean the other day? So that is an interesting slip up that she had. And I think there was another one where she used like present tense of like he will instead of like he would and stuff. So
that could just be an honest mistake, like because she talks about him so much that like maybe, and I mean it's hard to like, I don't know how it affects her obviously if like obviously you know someone's gone, but because he's such an icon and still here so much in present day, maybe it just like feels like his presence never really left, or maybe he really is a ghost and is haunting her, and that's why she said the other day, because she heard it in her ear the other day by his ghost.
There we go, talking to the ghost.
That's all I'm saying.
This is just a little snippet of a suspicious thing. His autopsy reports are sealed at the request of his father Vernon until the 50th anniversary of his death in 2027. So in 2 years, 3 years, basically 2, because it's almost the end of 2024. We'll have the autopsies unsealed, I guess.
That's so
but like,
weird
why would you seal them?
An autopsy report? Yeah.
So that's suspicious.
That's like, oh gosh, what was it? There were some documents that, like, with Marilyn Monroe's death, like, her journals were sealed until a certain time, and I was so excited but I never heard anything that, like, anyone found anything so shocking that it made so many headlines about the way her death was or anything like that, and, like, what it actually was, like, the whole conspiracy around who killed her, supposedly supposed to be unleashed or anything. So I don't know, like, we could just completely forget about this in 2 years because nothing actually came about it. Like, maybe it was something, the reason, like, they didn't want it to be revealed is more like something tarnishing his reputation, like, that is why he died. But also, maybe,
but everyone already knows about the drugs.
They knew about the alcohol, they knew about everything, so I don't know what would be so shocking that, like, unless it was like but they already think he killed himself, right? So, like,
no, it was heart failure.
Oh.
And, like, I don't know if he actually did die on the toilet or not, but that's kind of the running belief. And, like, I think with drugs and stuff, like, it could have been, like, a constipation thing, too. So, going with the toilet and stuff.
But, like, that's such a specific and weird detail, which might be exactly why, like, because everyone's like, oh, it sticks in your mind, and, like, and then you know he's dead. But also, like, it's such a specific and weird thing. Like, if you were trying to cover up somebody's death, why would you do something, like, so embarrassing for him and stuff? Like, that's just such a weird, specific detail that is, like, why would that be what you use to cover up something?
Yeah. Okay. Ready to get into the big one?
Oh, okay.
Bob Joyce.
Oh, God.
Bob Joyce is a pastor in Benton, Arkansas, whose voice and looks greatly resemble Elvis. They have the same gap in their teeth, the same scar on their forehead, the same broken pinky, and people have overlaid images of the two men, and they appear very similar. Not only does Bob share Elvis's facial structure, but his charisma, gestures, mannerisms, and the way he carries himself are very much like Elvis. Bob Joyce is the same age Elvis would be. Apparently, at one point, he claimed he's younger, but people have found posts on social media celebrating his 88th birthday in 2023, meaning he'd be 89 this year. Elvis would have been 89 this year. So, same age. Elvis embraced spirituality in his later years, and he has a lot of gospel music in his discography. Bob Joyce, as a pastor, reflects this trait. When asked what Elvis would be doing if he were still alive, Priscilla has said she believes he would be preaching. She said he would always be a part of music, but doesn't know if he'd be doing rock and roll right now. While he has denied that he is Elvis, wouldn't that be what Elvis would say? If you're gonna come out and say, like, you're not gonna come out and say, all right, you caught me. Like, that's gonna destroy this, like, peaceful life that you built for yourself. But also, by faking your death. Poor man
is now getting harassed if it is not him. Also, why? I don't know. Like,
but he refuses to take a DNA test. So, like, why? I understand maybe on the principle of it not wanting to, but wouldn't that, like, just be it if you just go ahead and take the test, and then it's like, okay, if you're not Elvis, take the test, and then people will leave you alone.
Maybe it's one of those, it could be like a separated twin at birth kind of situation, like maybe he has a secret twin, or, you know, people just, like, look really similar.
Okay.
And, like, can just be the same person.
Okay.
That aren't twins, you know, like you have 5 people that look like you, and, like, the doppelganger kind of thing.
Okay. So he apparently surfaced in Benton, Arkansas around 2011, and it's difficult to find any pictures or information on Pastor Bob Joyce prior to that. And 2011 is the year when it's been presumed Elvis would have been able to leave witness protection. If you, like, tie it to
Bob
that.
Got out of jail or something.
There's also possible early connections between Elvis and Bob's wife in Germany. According to theorists, there's a picture of Elvis with a woman who looks like a young Welena, which is Bob's wife, and theorists make the connection that Bob has said he once served in the U.S. Army in Germany. So they're thinking it's like
he served in
an ex-girlfriend of Elvis.
Then that's who he's married to.
And now he's married to her.
Why Arkansas? Why Bob?
I don't know. Well, there was one that was like, I think it was like Joe Burrows. I don't know if it was JB, of like an alias that Elvis would check into hotels with. And someone was like, Bob Joyce's JB backwards.
Yeah, I figured that out really fast. Thank you.
I was like, okay. He also reportedly attended the funeral of Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter, which was only open to close friends, and he's been seen at Graceland.
Okay, being seen at Graceland's not a crime, though. Like, people visit all the time.
Yeah.
Is that just where this whole thing started? Like,
But I guess his, like, sons also look very similar to Elvis. Like, it looks like there could be a familial line with it, and one of them's even an Elvis impersonator.
Two things. One, of course they're gonna look kind of like Elvis if this man looks kind of like Elvis, though, in the first place. Second, when did he have time to have more kids?
I don't know. Well, if he could be having kids when he was in witness protection, I guess. I don't know.
Well, no, I know, but like, how old would he have been when he was in witness protection? I guess is the answer. Wasn't he in his like 50s?
Well, he actually died, if we don't believe these, at 42. So
that's still kind of old to be having kids.
But guys can have kids whenever.
Well,
Billy Joel has like a what age kid? I know. He's how old? So
I'm aware. How old is his wife though?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like that would take a long time to search that stuff of like that, but then also ages of like his children and stuff. So we're just gonna say I don't know. Okay. And also, there's a rumor that Bob's writing a book that he says will answer everything, but it won't be released until after his death. So could that book reveal that he is / was
I've heard
Elvis?
About this supposed book, but so I thought he actually said that. So it's apparently rumored that he's writing this book.
I guess so.
Maybe he is like just a really like big pastor, just really wants to.
I don't know. So that's...
He looks kind of like Santa Claus.
Just because the white hair? Yeah.
Okay. Like when Tim Allen's slowly transforming into Santa Claus.
Sure. Looks. That was it for Elvis, because I wanted to end with Bob. So,
do you believe it? Do you think it is Bob?
I don't know. There's a lot of similarities, but also... I guess with witness protection, yeah, you have to be sworn to secrecy and stuff. It just seems like there'd be a lot of people that would have to, like, keep it under wraps if he were still alive. So
that's what I'm saying. Also, I'm surprised that you can, like, I didn't know witness protection ended. I thought you, like, were in it until you died, so.
I don't know. There was also, like, a music DJ that passed, and... like Priscilla and Bob are both at the funeral because it was like an old friend of Elvis's. So, and there was like a video someone took where Priscilla walked by Bob and like put a hand on his shoulder. So I don't know. It seems like he knows the Presley family then, even if he isn't him. Yeah, it's just weird. That, like,
but also the thing with witness protection,
how did he get connected to them?
That's what I'm saying. When you go into witness protection, you cannot talk to anyone in your past life. Like, you are done with them. They do not exist to you. So it's like, if that is the case, in theory, no one should know that that is him.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm interested in the autopsy report since that's like not that far away from coming out.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, he's 89, so I guess I don't know how long he'll live, but if this book is a thing, then in the next decade probably it will come out.
It's also possible, like, when people say there's no trace of him before 2011, like, is it like he just didn't have a social media presence till then? He didn't have, like,
I don't know.
because, like, he's just an old dude. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, he just didn't use technology. And some people, like, even today, when I used to stalk people before I'd go on dates on Bumble, you know, I was like, it's sometimes if they're not online, it's hard to find any information about them. Like,
that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I guess if there's any truth to it, it will come out sometime in the next decade.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's my guess. I mean, unless he lives over 100, then at minimum or at maximum like a decade. Probably.
I want to say how because of all the drugs he took, but I'm also looking at like Keith Richards and people like that. And
well, yeah, because like if he got the help he needed after faking his death, if he did, then like he could have turned his life around and gotten to like some sort of rehab or whatever.
But with the strain and stress and everything like that, those are permanent damages that are done to that body. Like you can't, it doesn't matter how clean you get. I mean,
yeah.
And to be honest, he looks great, like for being that old.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he said he was like in his 60s, but I don't know about since people said that they found like 88th birthday posts, so
I'd be interested, to know how they found that kind of stuff.
And maybe, it was like a music themed cake and stuff too, like an old timey microphone and stuff.
But he sings. I mean, like maybe singing is just like his big passion, and like
I don't know. Yeah, because there's also like songs. It's not even just like what did I play? Amazing Grace or something last week.
Oh yeah,
but like. There's stuff of him singing Can't Help Falling in Love too. So like he's singing Elvis songs. But yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of details that like I don't know. All right, so that did not take as much time. Well, I didn't know how much time it would take, honestly. So I prepared some other ones that are. This one's kind of in-depth, but I didn't do as much research because I'm literally just going to read an article. But I honestly I don't know how I didn't hear of this theory before, because when I told it to you, you were like, oh yeah, that's like a thing. And
I feel like this one isn't as big as the Elvis one, but it's still pretty big within the Beatle community.
But I've seen things being like, this is like the biggest music conspiracy. I'm like, I didn't hear of it until Christian suggested it.
That's right.
So I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna start reading because I like the way they did this. This is a Time magazine post, and I'll probably put it in our description if anyone wants to see the actual post. Paul McCartney never wrote Maybe I'm Amazed. He never formed the band Wings. He never clashed with Yoko, became a vegetarian, or fathered any of his children. When Queen Elizabeth knighted him in 1997... What was that?
I don't know.
I'm like, make sure it's not, like, messing with the recording. I don't know what that was. Okay. When Queen Elizabeth knighted him in 1997, she was actually knighting someone else. This is because conspiracy-minded Beatlemaniacs say Paul McCartney secretly died in 1966. Another head shake.
Here's the thing with that.
It's just funny. I just laugh.
This used to come up when I was like into the whole like Avril Lavigne's actually dead theory.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just like first it fucked with my head for a long time that I was like, that's so tragic that somebody would like do all of that. But also the fact that this one like said it from the beginning. Why do you have to pretend to be somebody else from the formation of... Well,
1966.
I guess it's later.
They're established by that point. Theorists claim the other Beatles covered up his death, hiring someone who looked like him, sang like him, and had the same jovial personality. But the guilt eventually got to them, and they began hiding clues in their music. In the song Taxman, George Harrison gave his advice for those who die, meaning Paul.
No.
The entire Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album was awash with Paul is dead clues. The Beatles had formed a new band featuring a fictional member named Billy Shears, supposedly the name of Paul's replacement. The album contained John Lennon's A Day in the Life, which had the lyrics, "He blew his mind out in a car," and the recorded phrase, "Paul is dead, miss him," which becomes evident only when the song is played backward.
That's the shit that, like, yes, the Beatles have done shit like that in the past, but, like, no, it's not shit like that.
Well, because I think of when we were talking about the ghost stuff and the Paul McCartney interview that I talked about, of how they heard when it's played backwards or whatever at the end of a song where it says John Lennon, and they're like, oh, that's his ghost saying he approves of the song. He, like, said that we put stuff backwards just to, like, give Beatlemaniacs, like, something to do.
Yeah, like, it's all in fun and, like, to fuck with people. I don't think that it actually holds merit of, like, and granted, they used to all have, like, a very similar look, so, like, I guess it would have been a little bit easier, but, like, bands have never shied away from the fact that somebody has died and then they tried to replace them. I mean, AC/DC's singer died and they tried to replace him with somebody who sounds exactly like him, and the only thing that people, like, bitch and moan over is the fact that some people swear that they can tell them apart. And so, but, like, they use their real names. There would be no reason for, yes, a record company would want to keep everything going and, you know, the Beatlemania and all of that stuff, obviously. But I don't think it would be worth it for them to completely, like, say, this is your persona and this is your life and this is who you are now, kind of a thing. They would just flat out replace them, you know?
Right. Lennon also mumbled, "I buried Paul," at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. But then in interviews, Lennon said the phrase was actually cranberry sauce and denied the existence of any backward messages. Paul is dead believers think the Beatles accompanied these backward tape loops and veiled references to death with album covers that illustrated the loss of their friend. The original cover of 1966's Yesterday and Today album featured the Beatles posed amid raw meat and dismembered doll parts, symbolizing McCartney's gruesome accident. If fans placed a mirror in front of the Sgt. Pepper album cover, the words Lonely Hearts on the drum logo could be read as the number 1, and then 1 spelled out, number 1, X he die, number 1, 1 spelled out, number 1. I'm kind of confused what that's supposed to mean other than the he die part, but okay. And of course, there's the Abbey Road cover, on which John, George, and Ringo forewent all pretense and pretended to cross the street as a funeral procession. John wore all white like a clergyman, Ringo, the mourner, dressed in black. George donned jeans like a gravedigger. Paul wore no shoes, he didn't need them because he was dead, and walked out of step with the others.
I think that's more of the fact that that is a hard shot to get, and anyone that has tried to take that shot on Abbey Road will also say the same thing. And there was this sense of, like, back in, like, especially those days, like, people, like, always trying to, like, make one person the front man and then the rest follow in suit. And I also want to say that, like, in interviews and stuff, it was always, like, John and Paul, like, one of them, or, like, Paul, I think specifically, was always kind of, like, rebellious with the pictures and stuff like that. So, like, I don't think it has any secret meaning. I think it was just a matter of, like, them being who they wanted to be and trying to have their own individuality within the group itself.
There was, like, a longer article that I originally found on Rolling Stone, but then when I linked it and then went back to it, it was like, hey, you have to subscribe to read this now, even though it was totally available the first time. But it made a joke about, like, since, like, George is supposedly, like, the gravedigger, that he once again gets, like, the short end of the stick and stuff. And I'm just like, I almost brought this up, like, earlier episodes of the podcast, because there was a moment in time where I was like, who's the fourth Beatle? My brain could not think of his name for the life of me, but I also didn't take the time to, like, just Google it and answer it. And I'm like, I don't know who the fourth Beatle is. It's Ringo, it's Paul, and it's John. Who was the fourth person? And then it just randomly popped into my head one day before we talked about it, so I'm like, didn't bring it up before now. But that's what it made me think of. Like, he's the short end of the stick. I'm like, I forgot his existence for a while. I couldn't think of his name. I'm like, there's a fourth one, but I don't know who he is. I'm sorry. Okay. If Paul is dead, then his imposter is still at large. He met and married Linda Eastman, with whom he had 4 children before losing her to breast cancer in 1998. He released a live album in 1993 called Paul is Live, likely story, and produced more than 20 solo albums. And that's not even counting the ones released by Wings. Then he endured a horrible divorce from Heather Mills, which may have made him wish he were dead, or at least were still Billy Shears. So who is the real McCartney? The world may never know.
Also, at this point, I mean, he might as well, like, uncover it if it was gonna be a thing. And to be honest, now, I don't know if, like, the Beatles didn't have the success that they did, if, like, but I will say, like, solo members didn't always have, like, this huge thing either, you know? So it wasn't just a matter of, like, your association with the Beatles, you know, because if that was the truth, I think everyone that I've talked to that is, like, huge Beatle fans are, like, George Harrison has some of the best music out of the group in their solo careers, but he's obviously not the biggest one out of all of them, so it's, like, and, I mean, you saw John Lennon died. They didn't just try to replace him. I mean, I think his circumstances were a lot different, but,
yeah.
It seems like it was a very, like, big accident that caused his death. Like, that would have been reported in newspapers. That would have been, there would have been some kind of circulation of some report somewhere.
I think the Rolling Stone one, because that had more details and stuff, mentioned that they, like, got to the press before they could release the news of his car crash or something to, like, keep it under wraps. I mean, this was the age
before, like, cell phones taking photos and stuff, but, like, I just think that there would be no way to cover up something like that, but...
Yeah, but at the same time, there's people who, like, there's, like, obviously, there's theories for everybody being alive still, like Princess Diana's car wreck and stuff, too, so... And James Dean... Any car wreck with a celebrity, basically. They're like, no, it was faked. They're still alive.
Yeah, but again, they don't try to just, like, cover up that they weren't in those crashes. Like,
I don't know.
I also think that with this one, again, I go back to, like, the success. No one could write like Paul McCartney.
Right.
Like, no matter what, you could replace everything about them, but are they going to have the lyric
Because they're pointing out, like, Paul McCartney, the, like, replacement Paul McCartney is the one who, like, actually wrote all these, like, major songs then, because he would have had died before they were written.
But him and Lennon had all the songs at the beginning, since the beginning of their career. Right. So it's like, that would
But they pointed out, like, oh, like, if he was replaced, this replacement should have been in the band to begin with because he's a great lyricist.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you just No, sorry. I don't have merit in this one at all. The Elvis one you might get me, but this one I just, no.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it's just...
I want to know how it actually originated from this one.
Yeah.
Like, where besides the, like... Which honestly might just be people, when they first got these records, tripping on acid and shit. Like, oh my god, Paul's dead?
Paul's dead?
What? Like...
like, there's, like, little tiny ones, but we don't need to do that, also.
Stop. It's been a weird...
Yeah.
The death of Liam Payne has been a weird,
on the top of this article.
Weird thing, man.
Yeah. There's a lot with that too that's, like, being questioned and stuff, but
reports from his autopsy said he was completely unconscious by the time he fell off the balcony.
Okay. So, like, he could have, like, passed out and then, like, I don't know, maybe passed out standing and fell off or something.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. But that would mean
people were saying that there was women being questioned that came into his room hours beforehand and stuff, so they're thinking maybe there was foul play involved. I think he honestly was on some druggies.
Well, he was being erratic in the lobby and like smashed a computer or something too.
And all this stuff was about to come out, and he just couldn't. Maybe it was an accidental overdose, but I think he just...
If he was unconscious, then I don't think it was intentional then, but...
Yeah, so...
Regardless, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just got brought up because my article that had like little snippets of other conspiracy theories has One Direction as like the top thing, which it doesn't actually. I scrolled through, they don't actually have any on the list, so I don't really understand why they put that as the top. I think
it's just irrelevant.
Well, it says there was like a podcast, Unpopped podcast, recently talked about One Direction generating a multitude of tall tales or something.
Because there's always conspiracy theories there have been conspiracy theories about who's dating who in the band, right, and all this stuff from day one of One Direction.
So basically the reason that's there is because they're like, but they're not alone when it comes to conspiracy theories, and then it says like, here's a bunch of other ones that are like musical related theories, and then the first two is literally the first one's titled Paul is Dead, the second one says Elvis isn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, then there's like the Avril one, and Justin Bieber's a lizard person, and Jay-Z's a vampire, and things like that. So,
well, okay then.
Fun little things that y'all can look up if you want to, but I think that's probably good timing wise, where we don't need to get into it for this episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I hope this was fun. Hope you
let us know which ones you believe in the comments below.
Do you believe that Elvis is alive? Do you believe that Paul isn't? Let us know. Yeah. And you can let us know in the comments. You could let us know by emailing us at themusiclenspodcast@gmail.com. If there's any other fun music conspiracies that you want us to talk about, you can send them our way. Maybe we'll do a different episode at some point in the future. Probably be a while, so we spread things out, but yeah. And you can follow us at the Music Lens Podcast on all the socials. Alex is at Alex Laker Music on all the socials, and myself is at Katie Fee Music on all the socials. I listened to myself back saying that once, and I was like, I think I say my name very short, and it sounds weird, so I tried to emphasize it a little better there.
Okay.
Anyways, that's all for us this week. So happy October, happy spooky season, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.